Hello everybody, welcome to Studios. My name is Magnus, and in this video I'm going to be looking at a very strange LEGO theme and see if the theme is actually very bad. And the theme that I'm looking at in this video is called Jack Stone. This was a theme that was introduced in 2001 and was basically kind of a replacement to Town's generalization era from 1997 to the year 2000. And here's the thing. This theme right here has been hated by a lot of people. A lot of people say that this is one of the worst LEGO themes that's ever been put out, but is that really true? Is Jack Stone actually a very bad LEGO theme? And does it actually deserve the hate that it gets? Well, that's what I'm gonna figure out in this video. So let's get into this. So first of all, what is Jack Stone about? Well, Jack Stone was about this guy called Jack Stone who basically had to save this city from natural disasters. Basically, this whole city would fall apart if he wasn't there. And now if you do want to learn a little bit more about Jack Stone, I would recommend watching the Jack Stone video that the LEGO Group put out during 2001. Yes, there is a movie focused around Jack Stone, in case you didn't know. So go watch it. It's probably it's definitely on YouTube. I've seen it all the way. So if you do want to learn a little bit more about Jack Stone, well then, go watch that. So, first of all, why do people hate this theme so much? Well, the answer to that question will have to be the fact that it is very, very simple. But here's the thing. LEGO has made a lot of sets that are basically juniorized. They're basically sets that are made for 4-year-olds, of course. And basically these sets are simple just so that way that young builders can have an easy time building the sets. But now if LEGO is still putting out sets that are very, very simple, why do people then say that this theme right here sucks? Well, that's a very interesting question, and I think I might have the answer to that question. But before I do that, I just want to take a look at the builds themselves to see if they are actually very, very bad, or if they're actually pretty awesome. So let's take a look at the sets really quickly. We're not gonna look at all of them, I'll just take a look at some of them. So as for some of the smaller builds, I do actually think that they look kind of alright, I guess. They're not super spectacular, but I do think they're actually very good for what they're trying to be. But then you get to some of the larger vehicles, and there's one thing they all have in common, which is basically the cab section at the front. Basically, it kind of looks like there's a giant windscreen at the front, kind of supposed to represent the cab part, and that looks very, very unrealistic if you ask me. I mean, here's the thing, my dad says that it kind of looks like a spaceship, but I don't really know if I see that, but it looks very, very weird and very, very unrealistic if you ask me. I don't really know why LEGO thought it would be a good idea to basically have windscreens like that, or as the cab section. It was not a good idea whatsoever. And well, I guess that's really my only critique with the theme. It's just the weird canopy pieces that are at the front of vehicles. They just look so weird, honestly. Now, some of the smaller sets aren't really that great either. For example, there's this Super Glider set, which basically the majority of the set is basically that giant vinyl piece. Is that a vinyl piece? I don't know, but that's basically the majority of the set, and that kind of drags it down a little bit. But other than that, I do kind of think that some of the other builds are actually kind of alright. I mean, of course they are simple, but I actually don't think they're that bad, honestly. But now let's get to the big question again, which is, why do people hate this theme so much? Well, the answer to that question will probably have to be the figures. You see, the figures in this theme were kind of strange. They're kind of similar to the Technic figures, but they're a little bit more plain than those figures. And now what's weird is that these figures actually have ears, noses, and even finger molding. That's a bit strange. But there is one problem that all of these figures have, which is, they're basically one piece. You cannot take them apart whatsoever. You cannot change around the legs or the torso or the heads or anything. You're basically just stuck with a figure that you had, which is not really good. So I think because of these figures, people hate this team so much. But now, do the figures actually ruin this team as a whole? Well, I guess they kind of do. I mean, here's the thing. If this right here was just in our town team with some minifigures, I don't think this team would be as hated as it is. But I think that due to the fact that these figures are kind of bad in the fact that you can't really customize them or anything, I think that's basically the main reason why people hate this team. But do I think it's bad overall? Well, like I said, I do think some of the builds are kind of alright, but like I said, the actual canopy section for some of the vehicles do look very bad and kind of unrealistic. I do not understand why they decided to make them like that. It was just a bad design decision, honestly. But now before I go, I just want to ask you guys something. Did you have any Jack Stone sets when you were a kid? If you did actually have some of these sets when you were 4 years old, well then let me know, because I would actually be curious to know if you guys had any of these sets growing up, and maybe you do have some nostalgia for these sets. That would actually be kind of interesting to hear, but if you didn't have any of these sets, well then that's kind of okay, I guess. But anyways, that's it for this video. I just wanted to take a look at Jack Stone because it is a very hated LEGO team, and I just wanted to see if it really is as bad as some people say it is. But now, let me know down in the comments below what you think of this team, if you actually do think it is bad, or if you think it is actually kind of decent. But anyways, that's it for this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, and make sure to subscribe to this YouTube, and hit that bell notification button so you're gonna know when I upload a new video. So see you now, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.